Good afternoon on what is a cool and very bright and sunny day. It is Tuesday, the 17th of October. I've got a nice hot cup of tea and a parcel to unbox. So I've got the knife and let's get this open. There we go. Pack it up open. There we go. Okay, and I've got this green thing here, which I will further unwrap if I can find the point at which where I can cut it open. It's quite nicely sealed, so you'll bear with me. So yeah, can't complain about the packaging, definitely not. Just getting into it is another whole other matter. Does not want to come off. There we go. That's off that, and oh, this is going to be interesting. I know what I've got in here. So, very interesting. So bear with me. What I've got, I should just show you that. Can you see that? If I just push that down a bit further, so you can just about see what's in there. I've been after a copy of this for a while. It's one of a couple of role-playing games published by Task Force Games, which is a company far better known for its big science fiction starship combat game, Starfleet Battles, which is based upon Star Trek. The setting, basically shown on television in the late 70s, and then Star Trek, the animated series, and then nothing else. And it's all, and basically that, and one of the publications, one of the source books, which was published at the time. So, what I have got here is Delta Force. For 2 more players, ages 12 and older, Task Force Games. Delta Force, the role-playing game of an elite anti-terrorist commando unit. The terrorists strike with awning, without mercy, taking hostages, issuing their demands. Shady organisations such as names as the PLO, Islamic Jihad, and KGB seek to overthrow the West in sneak attacks of blood and terror. But now America strikes back with Delta Force. Delta Force is the role-playing game of a fictional elite anti-terrorist commando unit based on the US Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta. Whether it's an assault on a hijacked 727 in Beirut, the rescue of POWs from a jungle camp, or the destruction of a secret A-bomb lab in the Libyan desert, Delta Force is trained and equipped to fight terrorists on their own ground and win. Delta Force emphasises action, playability, weaponry, and player-referee interaction. The referee moderates play and directs the actions of the terrorist, and also the players direct the activities of Delta Force members. The Delta Force includes rulebook, warbook, referee scheme, scenario book, dice. So, number of players, referee, plus 1 or more players, age 12 and older, playing time variable from 3 hours, complexity moderate to advanced, and it's designed by William H. Keith, a name you will recognise from lots of different role-playing games, Traveller, especially Traveller, with his brother Andrew Keith, and also Battletech, lots of Battletech fiction as well from the both of them. So, we open up, and that's what we've got inside. So the rules of play are quite simple and plain. At least you know, they are paper booklets. And to say the other role-playing game that Task Force Games did was Crime Fighter, which is about fighting crime on the streets, and you played police officers. And this is very similar in its style and layout, quite dense. So actually not really very much to look at. You're just going, oh my god, you know, it's probably fairly simple, but there's a lot to read. And this sits in sort of like the many kind of military role-playing games of the 80s. It's a very 80s game, you know, right down to essentially trying to evoke a kind of mercenary feels, the special forces kind of films, you know, like Delta Force, you know, so yeah, you know, with the action heroes of the period in play, you know, and it's a bit surprisingly bloody there, with someone you know, having been shot down against the wall. And there's going to be a lengthy section on combat. Excuse me, it's a little chilly out here, so so you've got a section on sighting and spotting the enemy. And you can rules like penetration, you know, the weapon, vehicle combat, hand-to-hand combat. So in some ways, kind of like a, you know, it's very combat focused, and we even have an advanced hand-to-hand combat system. Rules for grenades. And I'm sort of thinking about role-playing games like Merc and Recon, all fit into this genre. I think there's some repetition in here as well. Communications, morale and panic. You know, we've also got that kind of classic situation with, you know, terrorists with a gun to the head of a hostage. Now, Appendix 1 we've got is on the Delta Force referee and the surviving in Delta Force. And then we've got a bibliography on the back as well, and information about the publisher. So that's the rule book. Then we have the war book. So we've got so essentially all the weapons you're going to need, illustrated, and quite a lot of them. So yeah, this is almost also at the same time looking like a the pages or illustrations out of Twilight 2000 as well, which is obviously the other big military game as well at the time. And the thing is, I mean, this is all normal back in the day. This is accepted. You know, you had this fascination with the military, you know, in gaming, in war gaming, in role playing as well. All perfectly normal. Not so much these days, I don't think. And we even have some obscure weapons there, you know, like essentially your lat shotgun is fairly obscure from what I remember of my, you know, delve into this subject back in the 80s. Sections on grenades, more, you know, details of all the grenades. Burst effects for all your weapons. So this is, you know, in some ways this is like, you know, a more of a skirmish game than a role-playing game. And then we have this is for different ground vehicles, aircraft, helicopter descriptions, other combat gear. These aren't illustrated, you know, communication gear, surveillance gear, miscellaneous equipment, all of which would be different these days, far more sophisticated, because this would have been during the electronic age rather than the digital age. Then we have Delta Force Warbook dossiers. We've still got section on essentially unit organisation, and then we get on to Delta Force Warbook dossiers like the European terrorist organisations, like the Red Brigades, the Baader-Meinhof Gang, Professional Irish Republican Army, and so on, Palestinian terrorist organisations. Black September, Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine, Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, Palestine Liberation Front, Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, General Command, which is ridiculous. And just reading those out, you know, it almost points to the satire of Life of Brian, you know, People's Front for Judea, Popular, you know, Judean People's Front. Kind of silliness with all the names, and I'm not equating, you know, anything with anything there. So I'm just you know, and even mentions here of individuals, including probably the most infamous terrorist of all, known as Carlos Ilyich Ramirez Sanchez. Units and character templates. And you know, so we have, you know, these are anti-terrorist organisations. So Delta Force. What else we've got? Dutch Royal Marines, GSG 9, Sayat Maktal, SAS, SEALs. Squadron Anti-Commander, which is the Italian one, Unit 777, Egypt, and so on. And just ending with some stats. Okay, then below that we have scenarios. Operation Red Thunder. So how many scenarios have we got in here? We've got 3. And coming up with terrorist scenarios is, you know, going to be really easy. You've got a location, a map, just give the mission. Then we're into Operation Lightning. So you've got a quick and dirty operation with that one, with Operation Red Thunder. Operation Lightning is a bit longer. So you've got a longer briefing for the referee, more NPCs for the player characters to arrest or shoot, a guide on how to run Operation Lightning, section on Beirut Airport with a location. And then we move on to, oh yes, of course, we've got a Boeing 747, so yeah, this is a hostage rescue. And then Operation Swift Shore. Again, a much longer affair. So you've got 3 kind of scenarios in here, which, you know, the referee can bring to the table with relative ease. So you've got tables for, you know, things like explosion damage table and the NPCs, and this again takes place in Beirut, and you have a map of Beirut, which will be useful also with the previous mission, and then various locations within the city itself. And then below that, think there's one other source book apart from there's a scenario book as well apart from the companion. I'll have a look at this another time. What we have, the screen, which uses the artwork in the book, as you can see. And you've got all the stuff on the back, on the inside. So it's more of a reference sheet because that's not going to stand up. Literally, that's not going to stand up very well. And no dice, but you only need, I think it's 2d6 is what you need in here, or multiple six-sided dice. And then you've got a Task Force Games catalogue from 1986. Always, I love this kind of piece of ephemera in a game box because it enables you to look back and see what was on sale then. What could you buy with your dollars, you know, and so on. And be amazed by, you know, and bring to your table, because you even got, you know, auto adventures, which are, you know, are adventures for car wars, and then the Starfire setting as well was popular back then, and then we have, you know, America Strikes Back, Delta Force advert for Delta Force, and Crime Fighter, the role-playing game mentioned as well. Off-Wall Armies, the Gaming Connection, places where you could buy, because you can pay to be in the catalogue as well. Advert for Nexus, which is the Task Force Games magazine. And lastly, coming in fall, coming attractions. So that is a very 80s role-playing game. Delta Force, published in 1986. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with, well, what is now remnants of a package from which I will unbox a book or game or role-playing game that I will talk about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied with a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. We'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.